In Postgres, a role is a single concept behind both users and groups. That distinction matters. A user is a role with the login privileges. It has a password, it can connect to the database, it can run queries. When you connect with a connection string, you are connecting as a role that can log in. A group is a role without login privileges. You never connect as a group directly. Instead, you assign roles to it, and the group becomes a way to manage permissions in bulk. Grant access to the group, and every member role inherits it. So when someone says create a user or create a group in Postgres, they are doing the same thing, creating a role just with a different set of options. The basic command is create role name. That creates a role with no password and no login. Useful for groups. To create a role that can actually connect to the database, add the login and password options like this. To update the password later, you can run alter role command. One thing to watch: if you use special characters in your password, symbols like this are fine inside Postgres, but if you put that password into a connection string, those characters have special meaning in the URL. So you need to encode them first. Here are some examples. General rule of thumb is to avoid adding @ at the end of the password. The Postgres password is different from all the roles you will create yourself. You can update it from Supabase Studio in the database settings, and here reset database password. A newly created role has limited access, but not zero. If you connect and run /d+, you will see all the tables in the public schema listed. That's because every role can query the system catalog, and this command reads from PG catalog, which is always accessible regardless of schema level privileges. Separately, Supabase grants usage on the public schema to the public role by default, and every new role inherits it. Usage on a schema does not grant data access. It allows the role to look up and reference objects in that schema by name. Actual read-write access still depends on the object level privileges such as select, insert, update, and delete. You can prove this by querying the schema's access control list right after creating the new role. The result will look something like this. Here, app backend doesn't appear in the list at all, yet it can still reference objects in the public schema. That's the PG database owner entry doing the work. The empty string before =sign is Postgres notation for the public role. Every role inherits it automatically, so there is no need for an individual entry. What a fresh custom role can't do yet is read or write any data. Try to select from a table and you will get permission denied. Try to insert, update, or delete, same result. Note that Supabase's built-in API roles like anon or authenticated already have their own grants configured. This blank slate behavior applies specifically to roles you create yourself. You build up the actual data permissions with the grant command. The pattern is grant permission on object to role. Permissions include select, insert, update, and delete. And you are not limited to tables. You can grant access to almost any object in the database: tables, views, functions, and sequences. If your tables use auto-generated IDs, the role also needs usage on that associated sequence. Otherwise, inserts will fail even with the insert granted on that table. Here are a few examples: read-only access to a table, full read-write on another table, access to a view, and execute a function. Before any of that works, the role also needs usage on the schema, permission to look up and reference objects in it by name. In Supabase, this is already in place for the public schema via the public role, but it's worth including explicitly for any custom schemas you create where the default doesn't apply. For custom schema without usage, table grants won't work. Worth noting that grants only apply to objects that exist at the time you run them. If you create a new table next week, your role won't see it automatically. You can fix that with the default privileges like this. The for-role Postgres part matters. Default privileges only apply to objects created by the specific role. In Supabase, tables created from the SQL editor or migrations are typically created by Postgres, so you need to specify that. Without it, the grant only applies to objects created by whoever ran the alter default privileges statement, which may not be the same role that creates future tables. Roles can be organized in a hierarchy. One role can inherit permissions from another, so you define access at a higher level and it flows down automatically. To grant one role's permission to another, you can use grant command, or when creating a role that inherits from another. The child role now has all the permissions of the parent without you needing to repeat every grant. In Postgres 16 and later, inheritance is controlled at the membership level, not on the role itself. You specify the behavior when you grant the membership. The second form is useful when you want membership without automatic privilege escalation. The child has to run set role, parent role before those permissions take effect. This matters when you have multiple services sharing a database. You can define a base read role and have every service specific role inherit from it. So that way you have only one place to update. Postgres comes with a set of predefined roles, and Supabase extends this with the default set of roles, which are already configured on your database when you start a new project. For role level security, you mostly work on anon and authenticated, the two roles your app uses day to day. Let's say our app needs two things: read from products and create and update rows in the orders table. It doesn't need full Postgres access, so we create a smaller role for exactly that job. There are two approaches depending on how you connect. The first is direct database connection. We can use this approach when your backend script or BI tool connects with a Postgres connection string. At this point, we can switch the app from Postgres to app service. And when this role is used in the application, it can browse products, manage orders, but it still cannot drop tables, change unrelated data, or act like an admin. If those credentials leak, the damage is limited. The second approach is Supabase Data API. We can use this approach when requests go through the Supabase client libraries or directly to REST API endpoints. In that flow, Postgres connects as authenticator and switches into the role named in the JWT. So the role itself does not need login. Without the last line, Postgres is not allowed to switch into custom user. To actually use the role, the incoming JWT must include role custom user. By default, Supabase tokens use anon or authenticated, so a custom role only works if you issue a token with that claim or add it through custom claims. We will cover custom claims and custom access token hook in a separate video. If we want custom user to inherit everything anon already has, we can grant it like this. The direction is important here. Grant anon to custom user means custom user gets anon's permissions. Now let's take a look at role level security. Grants answers which tables can this role access. RLS answers which rows can it see. Without RLS, a role with select on orders can read every order in the table. Usually that's not what you want. Let's turn on RLS. Once RLS is enabled, access is denied by default until you add a policy. If you are using Supabase auth, the most common policy looks like this. Now each signed in user only sees rows where orders user ID matches their own user ID from the JWT. If you are connecting directly to Postgres instead of going through Supabase auth, the idea is the same, but you pass the user ID in yourself. Then your backend can set that value before the query. Here, current settings returns null instead of throwing an error if the settings is missing. And set config keeps the value local to the current transaction, so one user's ID does not leak into the next request. Now imagine your analytics team needs revenue summaries for Power BI. They should be able to read reports but not raw orders or customer data. That is a good use case for a separate schema. Then let's create a role with access only to that schema's tables. If we want this schema available through the Supabase Data API, we can add reporting schema in the integrations, data API, settings, exposed schemas. If Power BI connects directly to Postgres, we do not need authenticator here. We can use Power BI reader in the PostgreSQL connector, and it will only be able to read what we granted. One practical note: for BI tools, we can use direct connection or session pooler that will allow us to have long-lived reporting sessions. And this is it for today. We can use Postgres for setup and migrations. We can use limited roles for real applications and tools, and we can set up RLS when access depends on the current user. We can use custom schemas when a group should only see a part of the database. Thank you very much for watching.